Hi, everyone. Welcome to 3-Minute Warning here on the Stream.tv. This is the sports show where we take 5 of the hottest topics and break them down in 3 minutes or less. I'm David Griffin, one of your co-hosts today, and Michael Medina is joining me as well.
Hello.
We also have Stephen Fox up in the booth. He is our producer.
Looking good up there.
So, Michael, tell us where else that people are going to be able to find us on the Stream.tv.
Yeah, well, every Friday we're going to be having our 3-Minute Warning Sports Lounge, where we just recap all the biggest news of the week in a more casual environment. And that's when you guys, yes you, can send in your questions. We'll be happy to answer them. Just make sure you use the hashtag 3MW.
So, I mean, this is a huge week in sports. I mean, especially last night was Selection Sunday, which we are going to get to later in the segment. But first, we want to start the clock now, get that 3 minutes rolling. We're going to talk about our stories. We want you to get to know who we are, what, how we got into sports, what we like about sports, interests are, who our teams. On the beach. Yeah, who our teams. So, Michael, why don't you start with yourself? Tell us about your background in sports.
Yes. All right. Well, I born and raised in Chicago. Proud Bears fan. That's my team. That's my, my number one. Yeah, just a huge sport. Ever since I was a little kid, as far back as I can remember, like one of my very, very earliest memories, and I was like practically a fetus, was the '84 Cubs. You know what I mean? So just like that, just kind of got things going. So like Cubs, Bulls, Bears. That's my bread and butter. Oh, soccer, or depending where you're at, football. What part of the world you live in. I'm an Arsenal guy.
So for me, it started with growing up in Western New York. My dad taking me to Buffalo Bills games. I'm a huge Buffalo Bills fan. Grew up playing football. I even played a little soccer, or like I said, or football, depending on what part of the world you're from. Basketball, golf. I just love all that. I'm so excited for March Madness starting. I'm a huge Duke fan. It's weird, like my teams are kind of spread out. I started Western New York, Buffalo Sabres for hockey, but then when it gets to college, it gets tricky. Because my earliest sports memories, I think you had the similar experiences, were watching ACC teams.
Absolutely, yeah.
So for me, I remember vividly Duke back in '91, '92. I would have been 6 or 7 years old back then, watching Christian Laettner make that famous shot against Kentucky. And so I'm a Duke fan for college basketball. College football, again, early '90s. I remember Charlie Ward, Warwick Dunn, running the option together. I became a big Florida State fan.
Yeah.
So how about you talk about your college team?
Well, I'm pretty much University of Miami through and through, and that goes back to my early days. And I remember like the swagger era, of the U and stuff, and just something about those guys. I mean, they were just like they knew they were better than everyone else, but it wasn't so much being cocky. They just went out and did what they knew that they were capable of doing, and something about those guys really clicked with me and stuff. And it just, it's good for nice, competitive, battles between the U and I, especially when it comes to football with Florida State.
I mean, we had a great to start off the football season this past year. Michael and I, went out, we went to a local sports bar here in Los Angeles and watched the Bears and Buffalo Bills.
Something we do like every single year. It's just become
it's a tradition. It's something we do. And then last few years, you and I have gotten into soccer or European football. Definitely love watching that. I'm a Chelsea fan personally. Michael, you said you're an Arsenal fan, and
for life
it's kind of crazy. Like through video games like FIFA and other things, we've both come to love Premier League and even La Liga and Bundesliga and all the football leagues around the world. So that's also one of our other interests as well.
Yes.
So, I mean, let's go ahead and we're going to start that timer. We're going to reset. We're going to go back to 3 minutes.
Let's do it.
And we're going to start off, of course, yesterday was Selection Sunday. We have to talk about it. NCAA, it's the big. It's like Christmas for college basketball.
Pretty much, yeah.
And it's a time of year too where even people who aren't into college basketball. I mean, I want to say people by the water cooler. I don't even know if they have water coolers in offices anymore. But everyone now is filling out their brackets.
Absolutely.
It's huge. People putting money down for it. There's the odds. I mean. Every sports person in the country is talking about it.
This is the year I'm going to nail it. It's like, you're not going to nail it. No one's ever going to nail it.
And people get annoyed. You have some people who are hardcore college basketball fans. They know all the statistics, and they plan out their brackets. And you have people that pick teams by their names, like Gonzaga, because it sounds cool, and their colors. And they end up usually winning the brackets at the office. So
exactly. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm excited. I mean, again, I know you and I, we're big like college, especially like being in the ACC, like a great college conference for basketball. My team isn't in it, unfortunately.
Well, your team is in the NIT tournament, which I like to refer to as the not invited tournament.
That's pretty much what it is. But I'm still proud of that, damn it. There are going to be a lot of good matchups. I'm not going to hit the number ones yet because that's going to be another topic for us. But I think overall, there are some teams that, I mean, every single year there's going to be a team that just doesn't make it. And people are like, well, why did, like, for example, this year, UCLA, why did UCLA make it? You know what I mean? They don't have to They didn't have a very impressive record. Right. They didn't have to really like play to even get in. But again, you have to wonder. It's like, this is a business. You know what I mean? You want to have a sexy team in there. You want a team with a huge fan base. Not saying that they don't deserve it. UCLA is a fine program. They've been doing it for decades now. But nonetheless, there's always going to be those debates.
It's difficult too because the way the breakdown works is if you win your conference, your Division I school, you get a shot.
Yeah.
And some people say that's unfair. I think it's fair. I like that the teams get to, like, I mean, granted, you're my University of Miami fan. I feel bad. They're not in it. They're in the NIT.
Yeah.
But then you have a team like, in the first 4 games, as what they're calling it, you have Hampton versus Manhattan. It's like University of Miami is probably a better basketball team than Hampton. Or no offense against Hampton or Manhattan.
No disrespect those guys doing their thing. But
probably a better team, but that's just the way the system is.
No, I mean, I get it sucks for someone like myself. But you know what? Yeah, I agree. I think it's fair. I mean, if you win your conference, I mean, and that's the thing. That's the beauty of sports in general, especially with the tournament, is that, you know, you have a chance for a 16. It hasn't happened yet, but there's always that chance, that hope that a 16 will knock out a 1, right?
Right.
And that just adds to it.
Probably not this year.
Probably not going to be the year it
Probably
happens.
not this year, but I mean, it's just such a fun time of year. I mean, it's usually the best games are the early games.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because that's like when upset central happens. That's when all the craziness happens, all the last minute 3-point shots.
Yes.
And typically when it gets down to the end, when like the big teams start playing, it's not bad. It's just it's more formulaic. It's kind of what you expect to see down the road. Typically, the most exciting games are right in the beginning.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're gonna move in. I see the clock is ticking down here.
Oh, it's
down. Buzzer. Buzzer. We're done. So we're gonna move into our second topic,
yes,
which is more NCAA basketball because you can't escape it.
You can't escape it.
You have to talk about it. Selection Sunday was yesterday. We're gonna talk about the number 1 seeds and our overall predictions as well. Number 1 seeds this year are strong.
Yes.
You know,
especially Kentucky. They've just been
yeah.
steamrolling the competition this year. It's ridiculous, those guys. I mean, every single game that they've won, with the exception of a couple games. I know LSU played them tough this year. I want to say Ole Miss, I believe, did the same. Every single game they won was like at least 11, 12 points.
Yeah.
I mean, they just like handed every single thing. Didn't even tear down the net after winning the SEC championship. Like, whatever.
Because last year they were really young.
Yes.
All freshmen, basically. Yeah. One of the only schools I think started an all freshman class. They're very, very young, and then they've grown. They've grown up together. Now they almost look unbeatable.
Yeah.
But then you have to look at the other number 1s, and let's look at the conferences too.
Yes.
The SEC is by far the dominant league, you know, in terms of college football. No one's really going to argue that right now. I mean, they just dominate with Alabama and all those teams. But in college basketball, I would say the ACC is king.
I agree. There's so much competition. What do we have, like 6 or 7 ACC teams?
I think I want to say 7 ACC teams.
7,
I mean, NC State even made it in.
Yeah.
And then you look at even the Big Ten is also a great conference. Wisconsin and Duke, I think, are very similar. Strong basketball.
Absolutely.
Both have big guys, you know, move the ball really well. But then you also have Villanova.
Yes.
Which, again, we're talking about sexy. Villanova is not a sexy name, but I mean, it are certain terms of like their power, but they're always solid at basketball. Not a great football program, but always solid at basketball.
No, absolutely. And then with looking at a team like Duke, for example, I mean, this is a team that's obviously Jahlil Okafor. That's your team. That's your squad right there.
That's my team. Duke's in it.
Arguably, probably the best player in college basketball
right
now. So this guy's huge, and we were talking even before the show. I mean, it just amazes me just like how he towers above everyone else. He's what, like 6'11", something like that, and the next tallest player on Duke is like 6'6".
Right.
But I mean, he's just like on another level, and it's safe to say that he's done after this year. I mean, it's like thanks for stopping by.
But might
grab
not
a
do that
T-shirt and the
down
mug
the
on the
road
way out.
with this these new rules coming out. You may have to wait till your sophomore year.
Absolutely.
Or sorry, after your.
I believe at least 2 seasons.
Years.
I believe,
almost
which
like
should
college football.
Make things a little interesting. I believe. Maybe just have players stick around, or maybe players that would normally go to Kentucky to play like a year. Now they've got a guy in front of them for maybe 2 years or whatever. All right, well, I'll give Miami a chance. Or,
so let's run out of time here. Let's go down. Let's do predictions.
Okay.
For me as a Duke fan, I would love to say Duke's going to win. Duke seems a little inconsistent at times, but we are in the ACC. Notre Dame won the championship game on Saturday, beating North Carolina. Great team. ACC is so strong. I want to say Duke has a good chance of at least getting to the finals, just because of they're in the South.
Yeah.
And they have, I would say, probably the easiest bracket. So for me, I'm going to say probably Duke, Kentucky. I think Kentucky's going to win it, though.
I agree with you. I think right now they're pretty much heading on a collision course, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks that way. But I think Kentucky's just such an overall great team, and they work so well. But again, Duke does have the ACC. They are playing against some great competition, but I think it's going to be Kentucky.
Okay, actually, those are our predictions. Again, running out. Oh, buzzes out.
There it is.
Nice
Stephen is no joke. He's ruthless.
I know. Buzzer, he just can't beat it. We're going to go to NFL free agency now. It has just been a frenzy. People are calling, just one of the more chaotic NFL free agencies that I can remember. I don't remember all this
It's hard
action.
to keep track, man. It really is.
Again, you know our histories now. I mean, as a Buffalo Bills fan, this is just I'm pumped.
You should be. I mean,
Buffalo's looking great. We have LaShawn McCoy.
No offense to Buffalo fans, but this gives people a reason to talk about Buffalo for probably the first time since like the early 90s.
Now, because I was a kid, I was very young, maybe 6 when the first Super Bowl happened. But we went to 4 Super Bowls in a row. I remember them vividly. I remember us losing them vividly, especially the first one against the Giants. Scott Norwood missing the field goal. You know, it's awful. It's just bad memories. Bad memories. We have the longest playoff drought in the NFL.
That's right.
I think since '99, I want to believe. So like at least 15,
like
16 years. It's been crazy.
Well, it's like
Crazy
you guys
amount of
have
time.
always kind of been like right there, 500 roughly.
Yeah.
I mean, you've always
we're never
been
the worst
never
team,
horrible,
but we're never, not at the top ever.
Exactly. But no, it's been tough to keep up. Like, so I'm thinking about like some winners and losers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Winners and
I think it's probably safe to say my winner would be Buffalo, just simply because of the fact that people are talking about them again.
We're on
You
the
know
news
what I mean?
every day. We're on the news. We're on the news. It's great. I love
It's like they're the Cowboys or something
Right.
like that. You know what I mean? But this is good, though. I mean, because I think what you guys are doing, I mean, you guys have always been kind of big on running backs with CJ and Fred Jackson. Tend to get hurt a bit. Fred Jackson is starting to get a little long.
CJ Spiller's now with the Saints.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I think LaShawn McCoy had a down season last year, but I think he was a good pickup. I think he's going to rebound this year. I think that'll be strong. I know you got Sammy Watkins coming back for his second year.
Yep,
And then you guys
yep.
just recently picked up Percy Harvin for, I believe, just a
1 year.
season.
Guy's a little injury prone,
So,
but he's
yeah.
only 26, so
He's going to help that team, though.
Yeah.
He's definitely going to help take a little pressure off Sammy. I think overall you guys are taking the steps. You guys already have a good defense. Buffalo has that, but I'm excited to see what they're going to do. What about you? Who do you think your winner is?
I think winner for me. I think Seattle.
Yeah.
Seattle.
They got Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy Graham.
That's huge.
That's a huge pickup. They already have a very explosive offense anyway. I just think Russell Westbrook. I mean, let's see. The last 3 years, playoffs, won Super Bowl, lost a Super Bowl.
Yes.
That's very impressive, especially
It
for
is.
Russell being in the league 3 years. This will be his 4th year, I think, now. I mean, just doing that. I mean, in his first 3 years, that's extremely impressive. I like Seattle a lot. I love that team. I like their energy. They have a great fan base.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting
Great
because
fan
that's
base.
definitely like a very run-oriented offense and stuff. But now you have somebody like Jimmy
Yeah,
Graham.
Marshawn signed back, so he's
Yeah,
coming
exactly.
back.
I mean, I don't see why those guys. I'm not saying they're going to, make it to the Super Bowl. They're not a lock because now it's like a new look NFL. Anything can happen, but they're definitely going to be a team to watch.
Michael, you have a Chicago Bears shirt that you're wearing. How are your Bears looking? Do you have hope? Do you have faith in your Bears this year?
Well, first of all, I'm seeing that we're running low on time. Steven, is there any chance we can get another 3 minutes on the clock? I would really appreciate that. I might need 30 minutes just to talk about my Bears alone. No, but the Bears, I think they made a few improvements. We do what we need. We know we signed guys like Antrell Roll, getting a little up there in age right now. Just do what we have to do.
Oh, cut off. No
We're
more
gonna have to get
Chicago
another 3
talk.
minutes.
No more
Gonna have
Bears.
to get
Let's
3
do a whole
minutes.
segment on the Bears next time. All 15 minutes dedicated just to the Bears. Okay, going to reset that timer. We're going to go start talking about some Premier League.
Yes, let's do that.
Some football. Football. You gotta say football. Can't be calling it soccer. You get hurt for that.
That's right.
You can't say that. We said it before. Michael's Arsenal fan.
Yes.
I'm a Chelsea fan. Both teams played this past weekend. Arsenal had a much better result than Chelsea. Let's just say 3-1, 3-0.
Oh, geez, I don't even remember this. 3-1.
3-1. Great win. Chelsea, not so well. We played Southampton, tied 1-1. See, you got a picture of Oscar up there.
There's a picture of Arsenal, man.
We got
a picture of Arsenal.
There's
There
Arsenal.
we
There
go.
we go. We
Theo.
got Arsenal up there.
Theo.
So-
No, it's that's the one thing about the Premier League though, because it's for the most part it's pretty well balanced.
Of
When you get, like,
the Bundesliga, La Liga, Premier League, I mean, it's probably the most balanced. Even of Serie A and Ligue 1.
You look at,
it's
like,
probably the most balanced.
Chelsea right now, I mean, I don't want to say they're running away with it. It's still relatively close,
Right.
but they've got a solid, firm grasp on that first spot. But then you look at like Man City, Arsenal, Man United.
Just 2 points separates them.
Pretty much. So it's
points.
really
Yeah.
close. So it's basically, that's why I like for a team like, Arsenal has to win this next game. They have Newcastle, I believe Man City has West Bromwich Albion. So it's like basically this is a game they have to win if they want to continue, just to not continue sliding downward. And then, we have to win in order to like kind of leapfrog those guys.
Because you guys are competing too for the FA Cup still.
Absolutely.
You still have that. You had an impressive. Michael and I actually watched the FA Cup match between Manchester United and Arsenal. I was neutral, of course, in it, but I was very impressed with how Arsenal played.
I saw you pump a little fist up there like, yes.
I don't know if I did all that, but but then you got to look at the Champions League. Talking about the Premier League teams, still very poor showing again.
Yes.
Chelsea
Very poor.
won in 2012,
Yeah.
back with Torres and Didier Drogba, that really impressive team. Won in 2012. 2013, we had an all-German final.
Yeah.
We had Bayern Munich and
Borussia.
Borussia Dortmund. 2014, an all-Spanish title. We had Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid. And now it looks like, I mean, Arsenal needs a miracle to beat Monaco.
That last game
Chelsea's
against Monaco
out.
was
Chelsea's out in a
Pretty much-
horrible display. I was,
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, that last game against Monaco was pretty embarrassing too.
Yeah.
So we're playing tomorrow, as a matter of
Yep.
fact. So we got to come out strong. Hopefully, do what we got to do to come out on top, and then keep our chances of winning Champions League alive.
Man City probably not going to beat Barcelona. They have to go back to
they've-
Camp Nou and play them at home, and they're down 2-1.
And they've just been struggling throughout. You know, just like the last month or so, they've really been looking poor. So I don't know. It's not looking good for those guys right now.
But if you are a fan, I mean, some people were really inspired by the World Cup, USA's performance. If you are a fan of soccer, football, try out some Premier League. It's fun to watch. It's probably my favorite division, or my favorite league, I should say, pro league of all of them. MLS has been great. MLS is in full gear right now. We're in LA here. We got the Los Angeles Galaxy.
2 weeks in, I believe.
Yeah. So check out some soccer. Check out some football outside of the World Cup. Support the teams. Okay, so that's our show for today.
Yeah.
First show down. First
Yeah.
show down. The 3-minute warning. We hope you enjoyed it.
Hope you did. Yeah.
Again, like Michael said, you can also find us on Fridays. We're going to be here Monday, through Friday, of course, 9 a.m. here Pacific Standard Time. But on Friday, we're all going to do a sports lounge.
It'll be a little bit longer, so
a little bit longer,
more time.
a little more relaxed, a little less formal. Make sure you send in your questions. Hashtag 3MW over at thestream.tv. I'd love to hear from your input and questions and things you'd like to see from the show, or things you didn't like. Just whatever you want to tell us, let us know. You can find me on Twitter at GriffinDE.
And I'm at Mr. Michael Alexis, also on Twitter.
And again, don't forget to check out other shows here on thestream.tv. We have some great after shows here. We got Last Night On coming up next. And we will talk to you soon.